Dear friends, in the first video, we contemplated the great plan of love of God and the Immaculate, which aims to have their children, the sons and daughters of love, according to Marie-Paule's expression, ascend from here below to the divine world. Becoming aware of the love that God and the Immaculate have for us inspires great confidence in us, as we saw in the previous video. After having seen that trust leads us to seek to know the divine will so that we can faithfully accomplish it, today we will take another step along the path that leads us to God. For if everything was created so that we could become love, the question that arises is, how are we to do this? By what means do God and the Immaculate want us to become love? Already I hear your answer. By loving, of course, and you are absolutely right. However, one can love in different ways. The pianist loves by playing pieces of music, the nurse loves by taking care of the sick, the person who suffers from a significant disability expresses his love by accepting to live with his disability, etc. In reality, there are as many ways to love God and the Immaculate as there are destinies or vocations. Look around you, and you will see that every face is different, although all are a part of the same humanity. Well, in a similar way, we are all called to reflect a unique aspect of the love of God and the Immaculate through our personal life path. Marie-Paule says that every soul is a project of God's love. Every soul has something irreplaceable, unique and necessary for the realization of God's great plan of love for all mankind. At your age, you discover that you have strengths which others don't have, and that others have strengths which you don't have. One likes manual tasks, one does well in school, one finds it easy to console those who suffer, etc. Everyone is different, and together we complement one another. This means that we need each other to accomplish God's plan of love together. It is true providence that God and the Immaculate trace at all times the path that guides us towards the realization of their plan for us. To be able to see this path well, in order to follow it with courage, Marie-Paule says that 3 points are necessary. In the very constitutions of the family of the sons and daughters of Mary, Marie-Paule writes, "My life has been profoundly marked by 3 principal points necessary for the formation of a soul: the love of simplicity, attentiveness to the grace of the moment, and the understanding of providential events." Don't let those expressions worry you. We will look at them one at a time. The first point, the love of simplicity, invites us to live life well, as it presents itself to us, one day at a time, with its joys and its sorrows, without seeking personal glory and without envying the life or talents of others. The greatness of one's spiritual progression is not based on the accomplishment of great deeds, nor does it depend on a special title or an extraordinary vocation. Greatness lies in the degree of love with which we respond to the call of God and the Immaculate through everyday events. Thus, the courageous smile of a sick person can be worth as much as a successful operation by a surgeon, and the discreet work of a religious sister can be as important as the speeches given by a politician. It all depends on the love we put into fulfilling God's will. The second point, attentiveness to the grace of the moment, invites us precisely to trust. Whatever happens in life, God and the Immaculate are always there to support us. The grace of the moment is the secret strength of our soul. But for it to reach us and transform us, this requires that we be attentive to it. Marie-Paule writes, "Do changes and trials come along, they have to be accepted first of all in the heart, knowing that God will pour into us His graces of support, strength, and love. How many times, when a trial afflicted the family, did I not hear my mother urge us to welcome God's will in our regard, in order to progress more quickly towards Him? She would then exhort us to prayer of supplication and gratitude. That gave us the strength to help us pass through times of trial with confidence and for Christ the Redeemer." The third point, understanding providential events, is an invitation to see God's hand in everyday events. It is to look at what is happening around us and ask ourselves the question, what do God and the Immaculate want to tell me? What do they ask of me? For you children, it is first of all to obey your parents, to perform your homework well, etc., and thus prepare you to live a happy life in the service of your neighbor. The secret of happiness is to learn through providence how to be available to others, according to the needs of the moment and according to our specific talents. This is one of life's most important lessons, if not the most important. While providential events are meant to help us grow, sometimes they disturb us. I'll give you a very simple example. You're watching a TV show you like, or you're busy with an interesting game, and all of a sudden, one of your parents interrupts you and asks you to help them wash the dishes. Your first reaction may be negative, and as you would like to finish the show or game. However, it is in these moments that Providence, through your parents, asks you to get used to detachment and flexibility while allowing you to grow in love. If you learn these little lessons of life well, you will become free more and more to fulfill the will of God and the Immaculate, whether in small or big things. You will become more and more a unique reflection of their infinite love. Thank you so much for your attention. To help us grow in the love of God and neighbor, Marie-Paule invites us to continually practice interior reform. We'll see next week what she means by this expression. With joy, I give you now my blessing. May all the divinity bless you and the entire world, the Father and the Son, the Mother and the Daughter, in the unity of the Spirit. Amen.